All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our channel, Honest Hockey Take. Look who's back.
I'm here.
He decided that, he wanted to roll out of bed. He's not dead.
Yeah, I'm no longer as sick as a dog, which is really nice. And we're here today to talk to you guys about this crazy hype around the trade deadline. Right now, some of these players are getting insane talk, especially Jakob Chychrun, who has been healthy scratched for 2 straight games in a row now. And it seems almost imminent that he is going to be traded any second now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of rumors around the teams. Boston Bruins are very interested. LA Kings are very interested. Who other teams are very interested?
And then the Oilers and the Leafs, but a little less. It's definitely more on the Boston or LA. It feels almost like it's one of those two teams guaranteed is going to get this guy.
Who do you think is going to get him?
Honestly, off the top of my head, I still think it's going to be the Kings. We're hearing that the rumors of Brandt Clarke being involved are not true. That was fake news. It's not going to happen. It's going to most likely end up being a guy like Turcotte who's going to have to go because, I mean, this guy has been injury-ridden and has not really lived up to his hype of being a top 5 pick in his draft year. And I think it's going to involve him, a first-round pick, and likely someone like Sean Durzi or another really good prospect.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what I had in terms of the package that they can give up. They're going to give up at least one of the veteran defense on the back, Durzi. They're going to definitely give up that first-round pick, and I think they're going to give up Turcotte. They're just not going to give up Brandt Clarke. They're stupid to give up Brandt Clarke. He's their future number 1 defenseman on that team, so...
Yeah, they've pretty much already stated that Brandt Clarke and Quinton Byfield are both off limits.
Yeah.
Personally, in my opinion, because this is Honest Hockey Takes, I would be willing to get rid of Byfield at this point. I don't think he's ever going to live up to that second overall potential, but I kind of get why they don't want to yet, because if he does smash and become a great player, they look really stupid.
No, so, I would not get rid of Byfield right now, just for the fact, yeah, he hasn't shown that second overall potential, but if he can be at least a 50, 60-point player in the league, that's serviceable. That's
no,
good.
It's serviceable. Yeah. I look at this player and I just don't see it from what I've seen in his game over the last 2 years, especially.
He has size.
Yeah, he's got the perfect size, 6'5", speedy player, decently physical, but just overall, he just hasn't. He hasn't been like Tim Stützle in that same draft.
Well, you can't compare every player to...
because they were 1 pick apart.
Yeah.
They were debating that.
Yeah, but the thing is, if he's a usable player down the road and he's got the size, he can play at least a physical type of game in the future, I think it is worth keeping him for now. But Turcotte, on the other hand, he hasn't made the roster, and he was drafted before Byfield, right?
So not necessarily all his fault with the injuries, man. He's been hurt 7 times.
It's not, but the fact that they got Gabe Vilardi as well. They have other younger players. They got Alexander Kaliev. They got a bunch of young players.
They're never getting rid of Kaliev. They love that player.
So it's the fact that they have so many other forwards on the team, young forwards, that they can afford to lose a guy like Turcotte.
Yeah, no, it's true. They can. I mean, they have so much center depth, it's insane. And I think that the package we went over is the most likely one.
Now, let's flip the page to the Boston Bruins, the other team that's really interested.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to give up for him?
See, Boston's in a very tight spot. They have a fairly older team for the most part with guys like Bergeron and Marchand, but they kind of got to go for it. I mean, this is the best team they've had probably in our lifetime, right? Straight up, this team's stacked. It is really good, and I think it's almost worth them selling out because Chychrun's not going to hurt their cap too much. I mean, the guy's under $5 million right now, so it's not going to be a cap issue. It's more an asset issue and what they're able to give up. And I think if they want to go out and get Jakob Chychrun and jump the LA Kings as the favorite, they're going to have to give up Fabian Lysell, and that could be risky.
I'm going to actually have to disagree with this. You know what? Boston Bruins, the reason why they're such a good team right now is because their freaking defense is super good. Carlo is good. Matt Grzelcyk is good. And then you have Lindholm and you have McAvoy. The depth on this defense is actually surprisingly good this year.
It's solid. No,
there's no need to get Jakob Chychrun. No, if they get Jakob Chychrun, it's not much of an improvement because they're going to have to give up their future, which is Fabian Lysell. They need this type of young forward going forward. That's what I think.
I agree that they don't have any good prospects other than him in their system right now.
Yeah.
But we got to remember, Jakob Chychrun is also only 24 years old. So you're giving up a very young player who's 20 years old in Lysell, but you're also getting a player who's pretty much comparable in age. It's not a big gap. The bigger issue is that they don't have a lot of forwards in the system for when guys like Bergeron retire.
Exactly, and Bergeron's going to be retiring this upcoming year. And keep in mind, they're probably also going to lose Krejci as well. So these are 2 centers that you're going to go down right away. You need to get some forwards. You need to get some centers. Like that, I think that's what they need more than anything, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, and I think the package realistically that's been talked about, if the Bruins were to try to get Chychrun, is looking like a first-round pick this year, Fabian Lysell, and Brandon Carlo. So it is quite a bit to give up.
It is, and Brandon Carlo did nothing wrong. He played so good this year. Like I don't.
He has been solid.
And I get that he's not going to
not a
score.
Chychrun,
He's
no.
not gonna put up a lot of points. But keep in mind, they already have Charlie McAvoy that can put up points. They don't need a Jacob Chychrun.
Yeah, and Lindholm this year has put
Jacob
up some
Chychrun
points.
is one of those is an offensive defenseman that needs power play one. That's how I see Jacob Chychrun. They already have McAvoy in that position. Why do they need Chychrun?
I mean, you can never have too much of a good thing, especially because Chychrun is not.
And then the second guy
necessarily a
that can come
liability.
up, who has proven it, is Hampus Lindholm. He can step up and be the number one PP1 guy as well.
But I'm sure their thought process is if they can just run 4 defensemen the whole game and play 2 pairs with Chychrun, McAvoy, Grzelcyk, and Lindholm, right?
Yeah.
If they have that, they don't even need to use their third pair.
Personally, I think LA Kings would be a great fit.
I think
this
it's the
team.
better. I do
best
think
fit,
the
for
only
sure.
other fit I'd like to see, but the problem is they're not being talked about at all anymore. Is I wish Ottawa had just given up Shane Pinto and got him because it would have been a great fit for the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that why they didn't get him? Is it because they didn't want?
Yeah, they said they refused to give away Shane Pinto or Ridley Gregg. I would give up either of them. I'd give up both.
They're stupid.
I would give
They're
up both
stupid. They need the defense so bad on that team. They only had Thomas Chabot. You saw Thomas Chabot got walked over by Connor McDavid last game.
Everyone gets walked over by Connor
Yeah, but
McDavid.
he looked like a laughing stock on that play. So it just shows like Chabot's a great player, but you cannot rely on this guy all the time.
He plays 30 minutes a
needs,
game.
Exactly. He needs some backup. Clearly, he needs some backup. He needs some guy that can be a number 2 defenseman, which would have been Chychrun if they got him.
No, that would have been. It would have been a great fit. It's really sad, but right now it's going to be Boston or it's going to be the Kings, and I'm putting my foot there and saying that's what's going to happen. But moving on to another player here that's getting an insane amount of hype, and lately is starting to become more narrowed down where this guy's going to go, and that's Timo Meier. So we thought originally it was going to be either the Devils or the Rangers were the 2 big favorites, but now the Rangers went out, got Tarasenko, they're off the market. They're out of the race for him. Now we're looking at a whole new bunch of suitors here. Still with the Devils, who are probably by far the favorite to land him. But now Carolina has entered the mix too, along with Toronto actually looking for ways to make it work and just go all in. So between these 3 teams, who do you think is going to actually go out and get this player?
Definitely out of those 3 teams, definitely New Jersey Devils still. I still think they're the front runner only because of they actually have assets to give up and they have the
most
cap space.
assets, yeah.
If you look at Toronto Maple Leafs, what are they going to give up for him?
So the rumor right now for Toronto to go after Timo Meier, and this is going to be hard to make the cap work, but they're basically going to have to give up a first-round pick, Matthew Nyes, who's their number 1 prospect right now, who's having a really good season in college. Yeah, this guy's been popping off, point per game player right now there. So he's by far the best prospect in the Maple Leaf system. And then as well, Alex Kerfoot going back as part of the deal so they can make the money work. So that's what they're saying for Toronto. I don't think that offer is going to be as good as what they can get from a team like New Jersey, though.
No, that is a terrible offer, to be honest with you. If I am the Sharks, I want more than that. No
Plus,
offense.
the odds are to re-sign him. They're basically saying they're getting rid of Nylander for sure if they do that, because you can't have a $9 million player like Nylander when he gets re-signed, and then an 8.5 player in Timo Meier next year.
As for the Carolina Hurricanes, that one is a little tough one. I get why they would want him, but at the same time, I don't know what they're going to trade for him.
You know what? I know, as much as I've heard all these rumors about Carolina entering the mix, they really haven't given any concrete offers of what they could give up. It sounds like they probably would have to throw in one of their younger players that's currently on the roster, which I don't know if they'd want to mess with a guy like Seth Jarvis. They probably don't want to do that unless, but they did say that it comes down to if they know he'll resign. They would never make the deal just for a rental. Carolina is out of it if it's just for rental. They will only make a deal they're willing to part with multiple first-round picks if they know they re-sign this guy.
I'm not gonna lie. Carolina Hurricanes, I know they've been in a lot of rumors for these for a big splash for a winger, but I have a feeling if they're gonna get anyone, I think they're gonna get Patrick Kane. To be honest with you.
That would be an interesting one. I mean, it's probably going to be cheap the way it's going. If he's the last one to go, he's going to be a cheaper player.
But the way they got Tarasenko for so cheap.
I was shocked by that too.
Tarasenko currently, with the state that he's at, is actually probably a better player than Patrick Kane right now.
Honestly, the reason Tarasenko was so cheap, though, is because he's just a pure rental, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to likely be able to afford that with all the players on that roster.
But wouldn't Patrick Kane also be a pure rental?
Yeah, it depends what he's willing to re-sign for because his contract's almost done, right? So
Yeah.
it depends if you know that he likes the city.
I have a feeling with Patrick Kane, I feel like wherever he's going, I know this video is not about him, but it would be a very similar situation to Claude Giroux's situation last year, where he was going to go somewhere as a pure rental, big name on the market, but then he didn't resign with that Florida Panthers team. He went and signed with the Ottawa Senators. I feel like that's going to be
that was kind of a slap in the face.
Yeah, I think that's going to be what's going to happen with Patrick Kane as well, because whoever acquires Patrick Kane, I don't think they have the cap space to re-sign him anyways.
I actually think whoever ends up getting Timo Meier, he's going to resign there. That's my opinion on the Timo Meier.
So that's why the front runner for me personally, it'll be New Jersey Devils. I feel like the combination with him and Nico Hischier is going to be dynamic.
Yeah, and from all the talks right now on the Devils, they're willing to part with Holtz. They're not willing to part with Simon Nemec. It's too good of a player, second overall pick, developing pretty good right now in the AHL. Obviously, we haven't seen him in the NHL, so we don't know how he's going to be, but they're not willing to risk that. So most likely it's going to be like a player on the roster like Sharon Govich to save the money and make it work for re-signing this guy, because Timo Meier is going to probably be $8.5-9 million player, and they're probably going to lock him up for 6 to 8 years. Let's be real. Almost every contract is. So likely Holtz, a first-round pick, and then one of those players.
And that's a great package if you think about it.
That's a good package for the Sharks.
Alexander Holtz, he could actually pan out in the San Jose Sharks. I think
playing
Alexander
with his buddy.
Holtz, the big thing for Alexander Holtz is that he really needs to get some playing time in the NHL. And this is a great team to go because this team has no expectations.
And it has to be in the top 6.
Right?
They can't be putting him on the third, fourth line. He'll never develop.
And they're probably going to put him on the top 6 anyways. They'll be like, they're not playing for anything anyways, right?
No, it's true. No, it's a good point. The Sharks are just free rolling.
It's a perfect place for him to go.
No, I agree. I'm down for that trade for both teams. I think they both win in that situation.
All right.
And finally, that leaves us with our last player that's getting a ton of hype right now. And shockingly, this is just coming from one team. And I know Hohen's not going to like to hear this.
No.
But there is some very, very, very likely talk right now that the Edmonton Oilers are going to go all in and do what it takes to fit Erik Karlsson on their team and actually acquire this guy and his $11.5 million contract. I know that must trigger the living crap out of you.
Oh, yeah, it does. I'm actually so pissed hearing that news. I said it before. This guy sucks. I hate Erik Karlsson. Erik Karlsson is having a...
He doesn't suck. He's killing.
No, okay, he's killing offensively, but this is this year only.
Yeah.
How about next year?
Yeah, you never know.
And keep in mind, so based on what the rumors are, we're going to have to give up a first-round pick. Which is fair. I don't care about that. We're going to have to give up Puljujarvi, which is great. Get rid of him. We're going to have to give up... Evan Bouchard, and on top of that, we're going to have to give up Xavier Bourgeau. To be honest, none of those players are that good.
You're not losing. Honestly, you're really not losing that much.
I don't really like any of those players, so it doesn't matter. Those players go, I don't care.
You just want a more defensive defenseman.
Yes.
You want a pillar back there.
Yes, because we already have Tyson Barrie.
You have enough offense.
Tyson Barrie's already proven that he can quarterback the power play. Although he's nowhere as good as Erik Karlsson. I'm not saying he is. But at the same time, I feel like the need of this defense core right now is they need more of a defensive D-man on the left side.
Yeah. No,
right?
I think it's hilarious because obviously I'm not like Hohen. I don't think Erik Karlsson sucks. Like, he's obviously still very elite.
He's good.
The guy's going to put up 100 points. It's insane. His defensive game has kind of always been a little sus. It's not amazing by any means, but the offensive upside makes him worth it. For me, the big issue is it comes down to how much the Oilers are going to get the Sharks to retain on this. Because if they're not retaining a bunch of that, like close to 50%, yikes, that's a lot of money to be stuck for the rest of that contract. That's a few more years still.
I would, if they make this deal, I want the Sharks at least retain 40%. Otherwise, it's a no-go.
For how many years, though? Just this
year?
For
all of it.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
there's no chance.
So why is Holland even exploring this option? Just don't explore it. It's like, this is so stupid. I don't understand why the brass is doing it.
Honestly, the way the talks have been going right now, like from all the rumors, it's like a 75% likely thing. Like, it is pretty likely to happen.
This guy is, how old is he? 32 years old?
32 years old, yeah.
He's freaking old at this point.
Defenseman, that's not that old for a defenseman.
Yeah, but how many more years? He got four more years left on that contract. So
he's got like 3 or 4
So he'll be like
years.
36 years old by the end of that contract. Man, I don't like how it's going. I get why they want this player right now because they are in the win now window.
It would have been a lot nicer to get Chychrun for $4.5 million instead, but
Chychrun would have been. I'd rather use that resource.
I'd
rather use that resource and get Chychrun.
Yeah.
Right? You give up whatever you need. Bouchard, first round pick, whatever, another top prospect. I don't care. For Chychrun, it's worth it. But if you're giving this type of package for Erik Karlsson, to me, it's not worth it.
I can't wait. I love it. I'm going to watch him struggle, and it's going to be a great time. So I kind of hope
Holland,
he does.
don't do it.
I kind of hope
don't
he goes
do
to
it,
the
Holland.
Oilers. But until next time, guys, we'll talk to you later and enjoy the trade speculation. Take
All
care.
right, bye.